remember that solving inequalities is exactly like solving equalities, except that when you multiply or divide by a negative number, it changes the sign, okay? So for example, let's just do a quick example. If we say that 3 is less than 5, if we then multiply on both sides by -2, we would have -6 and -10, but -6 is not less than -10. -6 is greater than -10. So if we have a number line, just for a visual, this would be 3 and 5. Okay, 3 is to the left of 5. 4, 5, -6, 7, 8, 9, -10, but -10 is to the left of -6. So multiplying and dividing by a negative number switches the order of things, okay? Doesn't switch the absolute value, but it switches the order, whether it's left or to the right. So we have to be careful about that. Okay, so we flip the sign whenever we multiply by a negative or divide by a negative. Okay, let's do this problem. Okay, it should be straightforward. What do we need to do here to solve for y? We want to get y on a side by itself, divide both sides by -8, but as soon as you do that, you need to switch this around the other way, okay? Immediately, so you don't forget. So this is y is less than or equal to -4. Now, how do we graph this on a number line? Okay, so this is the answer. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to highlight it. Okay, this is the answer. But let's say we wanted to graph it on a number line. You'd have your number line, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. -4 would be right here. Y is less than or equal to -4. So right at -4, we'll put a circle and we'll fill it in. Okay, and then we will fill in our line to the left because y is less than -4 or equal to -4. All right, if you wanted to, instead of putting a dot, if you want to put a bracket, that's fine too. How do we write this in interval notation? In interval notation, we would have a parentheses and say -infinity all the way up to -4, with a bracket, meaning including -4. Okay, great. If this was not an underline, you would have a parentheses or an open circle. Let's look at the next one. Okay, here we have an inequality again. We solve it just the way we normally would. Okay, so we're going to distribute 3r plus 3. Distribute that 3. Simplify this left side by adding like terms. -r plus 3 is less than 2r. And then we will add r to both sides. And we get that 3 is less than r. Okay, great. So this is the answer here. If we wanted to graph this, we would have 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 is less than r, so we'd have an open circle, and we'll shade to the right, meaning r is bigger than 3. Okay. And if we wanted to write this in interval notation, we would have 3 with a parentheses, because we're not including 3, to infinity. All right. Notice we have an open circle because there's no line. It's not equal to. Right. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just realized that I did this wrong. You probably noticed a long time ago. This is not right at all. Supposed to add r to both sides, so we get 3 is less than 3r, and then divide both sides by 3, so we get 1 is less than r. And then this would have to be a 1 and a 1. So sorry about that. Okay, next one. -6 6 is less than or equal to, our goal here, before I begin, let me tell you what the goal is. Normally our goal is to get the variable on a side by itself. But when we have two inequalities like we do here, our goal is to get the variable in the middle by itself. Okay? So we're trying to get g by itself in the middle. If we had a g over here or a g over here, we'd have to move it to the middle. Okay, so we already have our g in the middle. Let's go ahead and subtract 4 from each place. Okay, if I can subtract properly. Okay, good. And then divide everything by 2. So negative 5 is less than or equal to g is less than or equal to 4. Now, as a quick side note, what would happen if this was a negative 2 right here? If it was a negative 2, you would have to divide by negative 2, and you would have 5, and then you would flip the sign, g, and then flip this sign, and have a negative 4, okay? And that means everything would be backwards, and so you'd rewrite this negative 4 is less than or equal to g is less than or equal to 5, okay? So you'd switch the whole thing around, mirror it, and then you'd end up with this, okay? So that's just a side note in case you have to divide by a negative when you have a double inequality like this one is. Okay, let me get rid of that negative. Okay, let's go back to the problem at hand. So divide everything by 2, we get this. So if we were going to graph this on a number line, we would have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5, and positive 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's going to be, g is going to be in between these two, including them. So we can use a bracket here, or we can use a closed-in circle, and then we'll shade in the middle, because g is in the middle. And if we were going to write this in interval notation, we would write it this way. Okay, great.